So for this week's ZiggyD Weekly, I'd like you guys to try and guess what I am drinking out of my manly mug at 12:40 PM. It's about lunchtime. If you feel like putting your answer in the comments below, I'm keen to see what you guys think ZiggyD would be drinking around this time of day out of his manly mug. But I'll let you guys know at the end of the video, so feel free to skip towards then if that's the only thing you care about. Because, you know, it's a pretty controversial and interesting topic, I think. Anyway, this last week has been massive, so I've been really looking forward to doing this ZiggyD Weekly. Oh, no, I forgot the intro. G'day, ZiggyD here, and welcome back to the ZiggyD Weekly, the show where I tell you stuff that's been happening. It's going well. Anyway, let's start off, as always, with what's actually happened over the past week. Now, first up was a pretty big thing for me. I had the Diablo 3 console coverage that I got to record in Sydney. My exclusive Diablo 3 pre-release console coverage, just to hype that up a little bit more. I got to publish that, and it's been doing pretty well. I was hoping maybe, you know, people would be a little bit more interested, but you know, you try to reach for the moon with these big things, and but it's been going well. I've been pretty satisfied with the response to that. You guys really seem to enjoy the footage, whether you liked the game or not. And you know, some people really don't like Diablo 3, or they like to you know, say how much they disliked the PC version, but the fact is, the console version is a really top-notch port. I was really impressed with how well it was done. Now, if you did miss that footage somehow, because I tweeted it out like 5 times, I'll put a link in the description below. And I did like a gameplay highlights, a full hour session of gameplay, and we did like a first impressions review as well. So pretty cool stuff. And you know, maybe if you're interested in some console couch demon smashing, then it might be worth picking up. I've actually pre-ordered it because it's a good chance for me to actually play Diablo 3 with Amy, because we kind of tried to, you know, do that when it came out on PC, but we had to buy a copy each, and yeah, it just didn't work out. She played a bit on EU, but we enjoy playing these games together, so I'm looking forward to actually getting that over the next few days. So, next up, we had Final Fantasy XIV and Square Enix's monetization issues, like their YouTube monetization issues. So, for those of you guys who missed this, Square Enix put out in their content usage policies, essentially, that no one could monetize any sort of Final Fantasy XIV coverage. So this means like a lot of YouTubers who are attempting to do it for a living, or a lot of people who already are doing it for a living, like, you know, for example, larger YouTubers like Total Biscuit, couldn't go ahead and publish these videos and monetize it. Now, legally, they actually could. Like, this sort of content that I make, guides and reviews and things like that, is actually protected by law, but Square made it kind of clear in their wording that they would pursue and pressure YouTube and YouTubers to not cover their game. So, you know, you really don't want to go against that, especially because YouTube has a history of sort of succumbing to that pressure, for example, with Nintendo and Sega, where a lot of copyright strikes, and a lot of people actually lost their channels from covering a game that did a similar thing to this. So I was pretty much to the point where I said, I can't really cover Final Fantasy XIV, guys. It's a pretty sick game, and I'm pretty sad about this, and I was really enjoying playing it, and I was you know, looking forward to covering it as my first, you know, serious MMO coverage. But yeah, couldn't do so. But then the next day after I posted that video, and I am 100% sure I had nothing to do with this, guys, just for the record. But Square came out and reversed the policy completely. They didn't just, you know, change it so that people could do it. They actually stated in their policy now that they fully support YouTubers, basically. Like, you know, it said, you know, it explicitly says, like, the YouTube partner program is fine, and the Twitch partner program is fine, and similar programs like that are fine, which is really cool. I'm proud of Square Enix for doing that, and I think it's a really good move as well. And hopefully, Square will lead the charge for other Japanese companies, game companies and publishers, to start supporting new media, which would be really cool, because it'd be good to be able to cover things like Sega games and Nintendo games without, you know, for other YouTubers. I'm not too interested in too many of those games myself, but for other YouTubers to be able to cover those games without fear of persecution. So that's pretty cool, and it means plenty more Final Fantasy XIV coverage coming your way. I'm really enjoying the game, and I'm enjoying breaking it down. I'm trying to figure out how to break down an MMO into, you know, an effective series of, you know, almost daily guides, and that's yeah, that's different. It's a different experience for me because I haven't, as I said, because I have never really covered an MMO in this much depth that I plan on doing with Final Fantasy before. So we'll see how I go with that. But any requests for specific content that you think I should cover in an MMO, if you're an experienced MMO player, maybe you have some tips on that, what you'd like to see, then send it my way because that'll be very helpful. Now, next up, I've been starting to get into Hearthstone guides. I did a few commentaries before, but now I've actually started making some guides. Now that I've actually gotten a little bit better at the game, I managed to get from bronze to like mid-platinum at the moment. So that's a bit of an improvement. I'm feeling a bit satisfied that I know a bit about the game now to actually share with you guys. However, those videos aren't getting much viewership. I noticed, like, not too many people seem to be interested, which is crazy because the game is hugely popular at the moment, but I don't know, just not too much interested in it, maybe from my subscriber base, or just not many people searching. I kind of understand that a lot of people are burnt out on the game because they really, really want a beta key, and I've heard plenty about that. But, you know, usually in a game that's still in closed beta, there's a lot of interesting content, but just not that much. Maybe that'll change around, I don't know. Be curious to hear what you guys think. Next up, I did a Path of Exile race commentary, and you guys really seemed to enjoy it, which was surprising, because I've done some of that in the past, and it's never really been that popular, but you guys really enjoyed my Endless Sledge commentary, and I really enjoyed doing the race, so that was pretty cool, and maybe I'll do some more of that in the future. So, coming up, I plan on doing some like almost daily Final Fantasy XIV coverage, as well as some Hearthstone coverage almost daily as well. So I'll try and do like a video every 1 to 2 days for both of those games. And I kind of got a bit of a plan how I'll go about that as well. So that should be pretty cool. I'm feeling very actually scheduled, and like I'm actually doing, I don't know, I guess I'm actually making consistent content now, and you guys probably noticed an increase in the amount and consistency of content, which I hope you have, because it's a pretty good thing. I'm feeling good about it. I'm really enjoying sort of doing it like this, so that's good too, and it's having an impact as well on like my overall viewership numbers and things like that, and getting closer and closer to be able to comfortably do this for a living, getting really close. Pretty exciting stuff. I also plan on doing a few videos on the upcoming Diablo 3 expansion pack. I'm going to talk a bit about what's coming up in the expansion pack, like give some overviews like I've done with the Crusader already. And I also want to do some kind of like how to prepare for the expansion pack maybe, or some of the implications of the mechanics, like maybe what crafting is going to mean for the system or what loot's going to mean for the system. I actually think I have a question on that this week to answer. And I also plan on doing some more Path of Exile content, maybe some more race coverage, but probably also some video guides answering a lot of questions I've been getting, which I think will be cool. It's cool. I like to be able to get these emails or get these messages asking specific things and be like, I can make a video on that, because that's really good. It means I'm not only helping that person, which I do a lot because I pretty much respond to most messages I get, but instead of just helping that person with a response, I can make a video that will help a bunch of people, so that's pretty awesome. So, oh yeah, I'll also keep putting up my playthrough with Duke. I've had a few people ask about me. I'm happy that you guys are enjoying it, and still got a ton of videos to put up for that, and I'll continue to do so. I just need to get off my ass and actually render them and upload them. Anyway, let's jump into Q&A for this week. I got so many questions, guys. After last week, I think I got like one question, and then after, you know, saying that, you guys sent me like, I don't know, I got like 15, 20 questions or something like that. But that means I had to make a choice about which questions to actually include in this week's episode. Now, I may go ahead and respond to some of those questions through videos, as I've mentioned, and I may also do a Monday musings on 1 or 2 of them, I'm not sure. So if your question doesn't get answered in this video, maybe keep an eye out for some content answers in the future. But sorry if I don't get to your questions now that I'm actually starting to get a few more. I kind of have to, you know, just choose a few, so sorry about that. But anyway, it's pretty awesome. Lots of answers to, lots of questions to answer. Anyway, first one comes in from Brian, and he asks, do you see yourself streaming and gaming in 10 to 20 years time down the road, or is this just a stepping stone to something else? Now, a lot of people use YouTube as a way to get on national TV, but I see new media coverage of video gaming and working in video games and making guides and making content for you guys to enjoy on video games, kind of the way I do now, but just on a higher level, my end game. So basically, you know, what I'm doing now is pretty much what I want to be doing. I just want to do it a crap load better in the future. So that means if I can go fully full-time, not have to do any freelance work, if I'm able to sustain myself doing so, and put more money into maybe like hiring people to do like art stuff for me, hiring people to do some of the stuff that takes a lot of time but doesn't directly go into new content for you guys, you know, or just putting money back into the actual content and getting more game coverage opportunities as well, so I can do a lot more cool content for you guys. I see that as my end game. So yes, I do see myself playing and covering games and streaming in the next 10 to 20 years. And I think, I don't know about 20 years, because I think the future is going to get really, really rapid soon. I don't know what will be happening in 20 years, but I'm pretty sure there's always going to be some sort of gaming entertainment going on, because it's something we really want as humans. And in 20 years' time, I'm excited to see where that could be and what I could actually be doing. But I'm pretty sure whatever I'm doing now is pretty much going to set the theme for the future, and it's something I'm really excited to continue pursuing. Now, he also asked a follow-up question. Is this business viable enough for supporting a family, or is it something that must be supplemented by other work as well? At the moment, I definitely have to supplement with other work. I'm doing freelance web design and writing and things like that to essentially help pay the bills. And it's pretty tight, like we have to live pretty cheaply. I've said before that we really budget really tightly to try and do so. But in the future, it's definitely a viable business, definitely has viable business potential. I've gotten a really good idea and concept of how viable it is and at what stage it's very viable from talking to a bunch of YouTubers recently and just comparing myself and how I'm going to other people. And I'm already myself very close to be able to stop doing freelance work as well, which is pretty exciting. But looking at other YouTubers who are maybe like 3 times my size, they're living pretty comfortably off it. And then you look at people like Total Biscuit, who have a fully fledged business out of it. Like they're probably taking a salary home of $100K a year. That's I'm not too hung up on earning over $100K a year just myself personally. But whatever I can do to make this better in the long term, I think is pretty exciting. So I do think it's definitely viable, and I probably wouldn't be able to pursue it so hard if I didn't think it was viable, because I've had to take that leap of faith into I dropped full-time work, I've toned back my freelance work, and doing this budgeting thing so I can kind of do it. Because I do think it will be viable, and there's a lot of evidence that points it out as well. But hopefully that answers your questions, Brian. Pretty cool ones. I like talking about YouTube and things like that. Now, Small Smalls asked a few questions, Path of Exile and Diablo related. Firstly, he says that Shavronne's wrappings feels very OP, and he wants to know how I feel about it and items like it, essentially. And there's a few uniques in Path of Exile that are definitely very, very, very strong. The one that actually comes to mind more for me than Shavronne's wrappings is Lionized Glare. And that's because Shavronne's wrappings is very, very powerful, but it's a build-enabling sort of item. Whereas Lionized Glare is just a simply endgame too-strong item. It overrides a lot of bows. We've now got the Voltaxic Rift, which can compete with it a little bit. But overall, it gives you Resolute Technique without the drawback. It allows you to go crit in endgame bow builds Lionized Glare. Very overpowered. How I feel about that overall, I don't actually have too much of a problem. I don't mind there being a couple of kind of OP items in the game, but I do think Lionized Glare is a little bit above and beyond what should be in Path of Exile. And I think the best way for them to deal with that moving forwards is to either take Lionized Glare out of the game in the new leagues. So we've got Onslaught and things like that, how, for example, they took out Combs. They can take that out of the game for those new leagues and just see how it feels. And then everything still stays in standard and normal hardcore modes, and people can still enjoy them there if they're really attached to those items and on those characters. But we can still experience the game without these really overpowered items, and I think that's the best way to deal with it. Next up is, he asks, Small Smalls asks, will Loot 2.0 fix Diablo 3's loot issue? The short answer to this is I think Loot 2.0 will make Diablo 3's loot system more satisfying, but I don't think it will fix Diablo 3's loot issue, because Diablo 3's loot issue is inherently a problem of way of this game's stats are used on characters, essentially. You have to stack your main stat, and you have to stack, some crit and attack speed and things like that, and that's pretty much it. It's just a very, very simple loot system. It doesn't come anywhere near approaching the complexity of Path of Exile, and I don't ever think it will, and I don't even think that's Blizzard's goal, really. But I do think it will make it much more satisfying. I think I'm going to get, another 100 hours out of the expansion pack, and I will enjoy finding loot in that expansion pack, but it's never going to be very dynamic, I don't think. So I don't know if it'll fix it in the sense that I think a lot of people are hoping, but it will definitely improve it and make it more satisfying. That said, I did see that some of the endgame items in Diablo 3 have a lot lower things like crit chance and stuff. So I think they are trying to tone back reliance on crit chance, which will be pretty cool, and I'm interested to see how that turns out. And I can't really speculate too much on the implications that will have for the loot system until we see a little bit more about it. But I'm interested. Yeah, that's my overall thoughts on that. Next up, he asks, what advances I would like to see to loot mechanics and skill tree in Path of Exile full release. Now, the full release is coming soon. We're getting an extra bit of an act for... We're getting Act 3X soon, and then we'll get an Act 4 for full release, I believe. Or is it Act 3X in full release? I kind of screwed that up. Anyway, overall, I'm happy to see a bit of extra content, but in terms of mechanics changes, I'd really like to see some more focused on defensive melee mechanics. So skills that have defensive buffs when you use them to make melee a little bit more viable. That's what I'd like to see, some melee buffs essentially on the defensive side of mechanics. And then he asked, Coke or Pepsi? Coke. I think most Australians prefer Coke over Pepsi. Ugh, Pepsi. Jeez. And Paul J. Play asks for the last question, a very quick one. Will I be getting a next-gen console? Yes, probably not straight away, but I plan on getting a PlayStation 4. I'm not really too interested in the Xbox's release titles because Titanfall is coming on PC, and I'll just play it there. But PS4 seems pretty cool. Seems like a good console, and I think I'll get one eventually, but maybe not at release. But I'm pretty hung up on PC gaming overall at the moment, so there's plenty of PC games to play, so I'm not too fussed about that. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I think this went a bit longer, yeah. Anyway, oh yeah, I am drinking in my manly mug strawberry Nesquik because real men drink pink. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.